So this is the conversation that nobody wants to have, but that we need to have at this time. And yes, it's going to trigger a lot of people. What you do with those triggers is going to determine the outcome of this period of evolution. What was interesting was when my son told me about the jokes exploding on Pinterest around the virus. And here's the thing, you and I both know that we have come to use humor to hide our fear, and it works until it comes home, and then it's not so fucking funny anymore. I know how effective it is. Fuck, I trained my body so that I would start laughing when I was in excruciating pain instead of crying. But until you name your fears, until you are willing to get real with your fears instead of pretending, you're not going to have the mind to get through this time. Now, when I say prepare for the worst and expect the best, this is not about something that you do only when the shit hits the fan. This is a lifestyle choice. And maybe you haven't made the choice before now. Well, it's not too late to start. I'll tell you when it is going to be too late. When you hit rock bottom, I can't help you anymore. So this is about deciding today that you're going to be alpha and that you're always, every single day, going to prepare for the worst and expect the best. Preparing for the worst is not an external game. It's not about responding to the environment. And if you think that running out of toilet paper is a crisis, you're in bigger shit than what you realize. Because it's irrelevant whether there's toilet paper or not. How you think and feel about the lack of toilet paper is what's important. Because quite frankly, if there's no toilet paper, you can wash your ass with water. Just keeping it real. So what does it mean to prepare for the worst? It comes back to your spiritual, mental, and physical wellness as indicated by your emotional wellness. So instead of meditating once a day, I meditate a minimum of 2 to 3 times a day. Why? Because I want to ensure that my body, my nervous system is calm. I want to ensure that I'm always connected to my inner alpha. I want to ensure that I have clarity from which I show up instead of fear, insecurity, listening to what everybody else is saying. It means instead of journaling once a day, I journal 2 to 3 times a day. I make sure my thoughts are aligned with where I desire to go. I have just invested with my next level mentor that I hadn't planned to be working with for at least the next 2 to 5 years. But when I started looking up and seeing what's happening, I was like, there's no more time to fart ass around. I am setting myself up for success. Now, you guys know that I've been saying for a while now that 2020 is going to be the year that sees the rise of alpha females. I've also been saying that in this year, more people are going to exit than ever before. And I didn't know that there was a virus coming. And that's only the beginning, my darling, because we are already starting to see the economic impact of this virus. People are going to lose their jobs. They're going to lose their minds, and they're going to commit suicide, which means relying on our spouses, our lovers, and our friends to emotionally support us through this time is just not an option anymore. Because people are freaking the fuck out on the inside. And if you bring your freak out to them as well, because you love them and you think that they're there to support you, you are adding to what's already on their shoulders. And you have no idea when it's the last straw for somebody. So are you working with a professional mentor or coach? Because if you are an alpha, not doing so at this time is irresponsible. It means my training has changed. I'm doing less cardio and more strength training. Why? Because I need my body to be really strong. I need to activate my solar plexus chakra because that is where my confidence lies. I need to activate my base chakra, as that is our connection to this life, and it also happens to be your money chakra. So if you want to start making more money whilst everybody is losing it, you need to start activating that baby. Preparing for the worst means that every single day you show up for yourself as the warrior, as the empress, with purpose and with passion. It means you take exquisite care of yourself, mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. And then you expect the best from the world. Because right now, people are expecting the worst from the world, and they're taking all the wrong fucking action to prepare for it. They are taking world action, whilst their internal game is so weak that they are operating in fear. And yes, we can joke all about it for as long as we want to, but it's not funny anymore, is it? I know this is not my normal optimistic video, but the truth is I'm very fucking optimistic. I know that this is just part of the evolution. I know that for things to evolve, the system has to break. And when the system breaks, people die because they've been relying on the system instead of themselves for, I don't know, a false sense of security. They thought the system was going to protect them, when the system is a selfish bitch, only looking after the system. And it doesn't care how many lives it takes down in order for it to survive. This is also the time that will see the return of the pack. Nobody is going to get through this thing on their own, not even alphas. So you've got some choices to make, darling. You can choose to wait for the pain to hit home in a very real way. You can choose to hit your rock bottom and then fight for survival. And maybe you will win, maybe you will give up. Or you can choose to say that today is the day that you become proactive, that you choose to lead, that you choose to rise, that you choose to prepare for the worst by playing the internal game full out. And you make a commitment that this is going to be for the rest of your life, not just to get you through the shit. I stopped competing 5 years ago. I still train a minimum of 6 days a week. I still fuel my body with the stuff that I need for epic performance. I still work with the coaches. I still show up every single day at 5 a.m. the way that I did when I was training for Ironman. Because I became an Ironman. I didn't do an Ironman. I am an alpha. I don't do alpha. It is part of who I choose to be in this lifetime. And my question to you is, who do you choose to be? Because you cannot choose to be an alpha and then not take the aligned action as an alpha. Majority of people are not going to have the mental and emotional skills and maturity to get through this crisis. They need leaders. They need you to show up for them. So right now, if you are ready to receive support and you want to know how we can partner together, then reach out to me. Because if you wait until the shit hits the fan, you're going to tell me, Anel, I don't have the money. Anel, I don't have the time. Or you're already telling yourself that. Because that's a choice as well, right? I'm just wondering how many lives are going to be lost before we stop joking and start stepping up and do what we came here to do by being the change we came here to be. Death is inevitable. Will you be courageous enough to choose to thrive? Time for some deep introspection, darling. You know how to get hold of me, and I'm here for you, but you have to step up to the plate. It is time to rise, alpha female.